that's all bullshit what you're trying to do right now. And he just told me straight up, he's like, you need to play something people can sing. Like it's a hook. Play a hook. The truth, the ugly truth. Let me live inside my pretty lies. I mean, what's more important than melody, right? What's more important than a hook? I want it to be in service of the song. You know, the guitar always has to be like, we're not writing songs to service the guitar. It's like, I have to fit this in to make a great song.
What's up? It's Paul from Guitar World, and today I welcome a phenomenal blues and roots music artist here with me, Samantha Fish.
Thank you.
I'm really excited to have you here. This is awesome.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's great. You're considered one of the top 5 blues guitarists out there. I don't know if you realize that.
Wow.
You're standing shoulder to shoulder with Derek Trucks, Joe Bonamassa. Who else was there? Chris Ingram, Kingfish.
Wow.
So you're there. So it says a lot about how you developed as a player.
Well, that's wild to me, but thank you.
I'm going to say that you've been on Guitar World's cover twice.
It's crazy.
For anyone, it's a dream come true.
It is.
And for you must have been, how did you feel about that?
If you would have told me at 15 that was going to happen, I wouldn't believe it. It's an honor. It's such an honor, you know, to be recognized for that. And I'm not done learning. Like, you're never done learning how to play guitar. There's still something to learn. Did
the singing come with your playing?
Yeah.
So right off the bat, you said, like, I got to do this.
I remember seeing a video of like Freddie King's Same Old Blues, and I remember that really affecting me and being like, I have to figure out how to do that.
So could you show a little bit of that?
God.
Like,
as I sit in my room, staring out at the gloom, it's the same old blues. And I like this little like duff. I knew I was gonna screw it up, but there was this little they did it on the piano, I think, but this little diminished thing, but yeah.
I love that. Where was the point where you said, like, you know what, I want to be a guitar player?
I started as a drummer.
Yep.
And when I started picking up the guitar, it was like the singing and the playing just were two things that kind of happened in tandem. I don't feel like I'm one without the other, really.
Right.
They both support each other.
Absolutely.
And I think playing the drums, having that background just really helped, you know, set this internal rhythm thing and helped me with my timing and with my singing and just kind of knowing how and where to hit the chords. And I feel like it just sort of helped me grow a little quicker.
Sure.
My dad played, all of his friends played. My sister had started playing. Everybody around me was picking up a guitar. And I was like, I'm going to be different. You know, I want to play the drums. I wanted to have a different angle on it. And I don't know, I think it just was calling to me. I mean, they were just always around. And so eventually, you know, I sat down with it and I was like, okay, Dad, show me what the chords are. And he showed me, like, you know, the basic, you know, chords. And I was just off and running. Like, with that and like a blues scale, it was like, okay, now put all the pieces together. And I just sit there with the radio and I just took to it. I feel like with drums, it was such a struggle and the guitar just kind of happened naturally.
It kind of fell into place.
Yeah.
Mostly writing your own stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I started writing and, oh God, those early songs are just brutal to revisit, but necessary. You know, you got to do it. It's an exercise. I mean, songwriting is just as much a skill as playing guitar and singing and entertaining and communicating with people on stage. I mean, the songwriting piece of it is something that I'm constantly trying to develop and grow and change.
What was the hardest aspect of doing it all? Like, which part? The songwriting, the guitar playing, the singing? Like, where were you in that?
I feel like I've had, you know, times in my career and in my early on where it was like I was not as good of a singer as I was a guitar player, and then the singing caught up and I had to catch up with the guitar playing, and it was a little like this. But I will say singing is one of those things that, for me, I could go to a club and watch guitar players play and I could get something out of it. You know, I could go, oh, that fits into this for this reason, and I could go home and try this lick. But with singing, it's like everything's internal.
Yep.
So I had to go work with somebody to figure out how to breathe and how to relax, which sounds really crazy, but when you're on stage, those are things that you know, aren't always second nature.
Yeah.
And I had to really work on the singing piece of it a lot.
You hail from Kansas City, Missouri, or Missouri.
Teaches them.
Tell me about, the rough and tumble streets of KC, or the idyllic setting that has given you your musical swagger.
When I was coming up in KC as a musician, late teens, and I was looking for places to perform and play, it was, I think every scene kind of ebbs and flows.
Sure.
And it was really hot at that time. There were a lot of young acts coming up. There was a lot of legendary talents in Kansas City, still doing it. And so it was just like a good time to come up in the city. And if I wanted to go and play any night of the week, I could find some kind of open jam situation or open mic, whatever. But I had to kind of work on stuff within the tradition. And Kansas City is really, really known for being a blues and a jazz town.
Okay.
And so I just gravitated towards the blues. And that kind of, it helped me learn so much quicker than I would have on my own, just getting
Right.
up with and playing with other people. My goal was to fill my calendar. And that started locally. And then once we kind of had a foothold locally, then I started kind of going out regionally and taking chances in places that we'd never been in. It was just like a slow, spread. Then we started, folding in trips though, to Chicago that were a little further away and just trying
Right.
to like grow it, but having a good base in Kansas City. And I felt like Kansas City, that support and that structure that I had there for so long, starting as a local artist, helped me get, some stability.
Sure.
To be able to go and take those chances where I knew, I'd be going to Chicago and losing money. But I had this kind of like really good system, of checks and balances to keep things afloat there.
So it was like more of you would say KC was a lot of like a proving ground?
There were a lot of really wonderful players that were around me at the time that were, kind of helping steer me in a direction, if I was, like giving me, not really like saying you need to do this or you need to sound like that, but just like, hey, check out this artist if you're not hip to them, just like kind of really just an encouraging, supportive community. Yeah.
I feel like maybe you were a lot like what I did when I was young, that you'd basically go to the venues and you just watch other players.
Totally.
That's what you did a lot.
A lot, yeah.
And that's what shaped you as a guitar player?
Yeah. I would go and sit at like Knuckleheads in Kansas City, which is a really well-known venue. And I would just watch people come in from all over the country, and, I just sit there and try and soak it up.
When did you find your voice on guitar?
As a player who was learning and trying to develop a voice, I think sometimes just you gotta get away from singular sources and kind of just broaden it. And for me, like the best thing that I could have done for my voice was just turn everything off and sit there and say, okay, what sounds good to me, like melodically, what feels good to me, and what sings well. And like I'm talking about actually singing with your voice,
Right.
not just shredding licks, but like what's like a simple approach that feels like you. And I don't know. I mean, it's I wish I could describe the kind of player I am, like, but I feel like I've got a lot of influences, but I don't know. I mean, I just try to play stuff that sounds good to my ear.
Yeah. So when you're playing, like, say, when you're writing your songs and stuff like that, when you think of the solo, is it generally hum something like like you just kind of said, like, and then kind of mimic that, or do you just go for it?
Okay, so great piece of advice I got when I was working on the Wild Heart record, because I didn't know anything about writing guitar solos, and I was just, I was learning how to improvise at blues jams, and it's great, like that actually, it helped me grow so much. But going into the studio, that's a whole different set of like anxiety circumstances. Like I wanted to impress. I wanted to be flashy. Like every lick I know, I wasn't really sure.
Right.
I'm like, I think I was just uncertain myself. But I was working with Luther Dickinson, who I think is one of the greatest guitar players alive. And he came in and he was like, that's all bullshit what you're trying to do right now. And he just told me straight up, he's like, you need to play something people can sing. Like it's a hook.
Yep.
Play a hook. Come up with a counter melody to your vocal melody and stick with it and build off of that. And you're going to have it's going to open up an array of ideas for you rather than just like this lick, that lick, this lick.
Right.
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 I feel like that has been the foundation of how I approach guitar solos.
Yeah.
is to, I mean, what's more important than melody, right? What's more important than a hook,
Right.
you know, to make a song catchy.
Yeah.
And I want it to be in service of the song. You know,
Sure.
the guitar always has to be like, we're not writing songs to service the guitar. It's like,
Yeah.
I have to fit this in to make a great song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And I think what you're saying, I mean, what you're saying is it's rather than stringing a bunch of licks that everyone does, you're on the guitar, you're telling a story.
Yes.
You have a new live album.
Yeah.
And it's
yes.
it's a live from your previous album last year. It's Paper Doll Live.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So what made you get there?
Well, I have not heard the end of it from my fans. Like they've been telling me for years. Like it's really, truly, from my perspective, for them, for the diehards that have wanted this. You know, we're such a live act.
Yeah.
I've had people for years come up and say, I want to take that. I want that on a record. What can I do to get that? Because that's, you know, that's a feeling. It's a connection.
Sure.
And, you know, so I've always wanted to do it. Really, to not to kill the romance, but it's like the label came around and we were all on the same page. So, you know, and I felt like, and they also felt like the last studio record was a great place to build from, you know, with Paper Doll, because I recorded it with my band.
Yep.
I think that they just felt like this set of songs really lent itself to that experience. So
Tell me a little bit about what are you using as gear?
okay, well, this is not mine.
Yeah.
You were so generous as to lend this to me, but it's an SG, which I do play on tour. So
It suits you.
I love them. I ordered one off of Reverb, my first one, the one I play the most on stage.
The white one.
Yeah, the white one. I ordered it off of Reverb, but showed up at a gig in New York. I pulled it out of the box, and it's the first time where I've ever put a guitar on it. It actually played well, which shocked me because it'd been through the mail. But it just fit, and I immediately, I just really connected to that guitar.
Do you know how old it is, or what?
It was a 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, just new, you know, standard stock.
That's it.
I've replaced some things in it, but I've got two SGs. I have a cigar box guitar, which I think people kind of know me for as well. I have a Supro, which I do open tunings with, another custom Delaney guitar guy builds out of Texas. I have a Firebird, a Jazzmaster. No, I'm sorry, it's a Jaguar on this tour. And I've got a Gibson Custom Shop 335, which is just beautiful. That's like my new baby.
Yeah. In silver, sparkle too, which I thought was kind of cool.
My pedal board is a constant work in progress. You know, you're always finding stuff, tweaking things. Stuff breaks, stops sounding as good to your ear, so it's good to, you know, switch it out. But I have a King of Tone analog man, which has been a staple on my board forever. I have a JHS Mini Foot Fuzz. I've got an MXR carbon copy, a Micropog. Oh yeah, I've got this MC5 pedal, which is just loud.
That's your 11 pedal, right?
That's my 11 pedal when I need it. And then my amps, I use a 412 cabinet by Category 5, and I generally switch back and forth on the heads. I have a 90-watt Camille head and then a 50-watt Andrew head.
What is that? What kind of a tone is that? Is it more like a Fender-ish tone?
Yeah, it's like a tube amp. It's just a great tube amp, opened up, you know, like it just sounds good at lower volume. Like it just sounds really nice and round to me.
Are you using in-ears or anything like that, or no?
I just started in the last couple of years, and it's been a game changer. I hated it for 6 months. I hated it. I was like constantly just taking them out and fussing with them. But, you know, as the singer and the guitarist, I'm at war with myself, you know, because I got to get that good tone.
Yep.
I got to turn that amp up. But as a singer, you know, it's always, you can never get enough out of the monitor wedge, at least in my experience. And just where my voice sits sonically, it's a little higher. It tends to get drowned out by bass frequencies. So the in-ears really did help. And you know, people are always like, I saw you messing with them. You must hate them. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to get the right mix. I'm pulling them a little in and out. I'm something to fuss with while I'm on stage.
So that's a work in progress as well, right?
It all is, just getting, you know. But every stage is different. You know, every room is going to react differently. So every night is a work in progress because you're going into a different room with a different crowd, you know, different monitors, just different, you know, space between me and the drummer. All that matters, you know, all that changes things. So you got to work with it. And it's never going to be perfect. And the idea is just to forget all that and tap into the audience and
the musical environment that we're in right now, do you find it particularly hard as an artist to sort of make the blues genre kind of, stand out for you? Or you feel it's difficult?
I feel like the blues has always kind of been one of those genres where people come to it when they're ready for an authentic connection and experience, but and maybe that happens when you're a little bit older, maybe,
Sure.
You kind of get tired of what you're hearing on the radio, and then you realize that, wow, there's people in clubs down the street playing this kind of music that's really, really moving for me, and I don't really think about that too much when I'm making music, when I'm like writing and making music. I'm just kind of making stuff that feels good to me, and trying to shine a light on my heroes in the process and talk about what's inspiring me and where does it come from. Like, I think that's really important in our genre, especially. There's a tradition of passing it down, and but as far as like are people going to shows and listening to blues music, I find more and more people are all the time. I think they just got to get to it. They got to realize it's out there, and it's not. It's never been the type of music that's on the mainstream radio, and you got to be. We connect to people in a myriad of ways. Either they love the guitar. There's a lot of different elements. They like the energy of our shows. They've heard about us through word of mouth. We're kind of like grassroots.
Yeah. How do you feel how you have evolved as a player in the last decade? Or maybe even 5 years?
I mean, I do it a lot, so it's really hard to track. I mean, I might see a video from 10 years ago and go, oh man, I am better than I was 10 years ago. But I try not to, I don't know. I mean, I'm just out there doing it all the time. So I feel like, there's just naturally things when you're on a stage every night and you've got 90 minutes to play guitar in front of people, unless you're playing the exact same solo note for note, there's still some room to find things. And that one little thing might spark the next couple of things. And I'm just always trying to chase sounds and chase things that feel interesting and feel good. And that's how your playing evolves, right? I don't know. I mean, I think I've gotten better, but it's subjective. There's some people who liked my first album and stand by that it's the best thing, and everything else since then's been trash. So, I don't know. It's subjective.
It is subjective, but it's funny because incidentally, when I was looking you up for just something else, your name came up next to Black Sabbath, and when I dug into that, I found a bunch of videos of you playing War Pigs, which was so juxtaposition from what you're known for, but you were killing it. Well,
I was just being, I was just kind of being a shithead about that, because we were playing a lot of blues festivals and a lot of, there's purists in our genre, and I respect them, and I understand I'm not a traditional player by any means, but we were kind of getting a lot of like flack for being too rock for these shows. So we started playing War Pigs because Black Sabbath wanted to be a blues band, and I don't know. But it ended up being this thing that it became like our most requested song. People still come to the show and yell for War Pigs, and I don't think I've played it. I think the last time we were in Birmingham, in England, and I was like, this is it, because I just wanted to be more known for my own songs. But it's such a great song, and it always would take people, take people off guard. And I can appreciate, there's a lot of things in our show that sort of present as a juxtaposition, and that was one of the biggest ones.
That's cool.
He's got so many great bends in that song. Just great bends.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You've shared the stage with a lot of notable guitar players like Buddy Guy.
Yes.
Anything that you've picked up from all those different players?
Well, Buddy Guy is, like, as far as guitar players go, one of the best conversationalists on the planet. I mean, he knows how to, what he does with his guitar, and like when you're doing a back and forth with him, trading licks, like he's fully immersed. Like for me, the best thing you can do for a guitar, as a guitarist, is try to make it sound like human voice, emote a voice out of it. And he just does that perfectly to a T. And it makes what you bounce back just really conversational. And I don't know, he takes a lot of pauses. He'll stop playing and like people will just go nuts. Like it's amazing. Like take a breath, you know. That's people really do respond to it, you know. And he's just one of the best. He's just one of the best emoters there is.
That's fantastic. Wow.
Yeah.
As a woman, did you always find that you had to work twice as hard to be where you're at in this musical climate?
Yeah, I mean, but I think any woman in any job in any workforce can probably say the same thing. You know, I think it's a different set of rules. There's a different playbook. There's, you know, it's a different ladder to climb in a way. And yeah, I remember when I was young having to really, like, I felt like I really had to prove myself. And there was a lot of, you know, if you listened, there was a lot of people who were saying, oh, she's just there because she's a girl, kind of a thing. And, you know, you hear that, and I think as a young person, you can let that stuff beat you down. And I've seen it beat other people down, but for me, it was like, I kind of used it as a fuel, like, okay, you know, all right, you think I suck? I'm going to go work on it, and I'm going to prove that I don't suck. But, you know, as far as in the business and the you know, the glass ceiling, the ladders to climb, yeah, of course. I mean, the silver lining that I always try to focus on is, you know, the important thing we need for the next generation of guitar players is representation. And, you know, sadly, there wasn't much of that through old school music industry, the labels, you know, radio. There was quotas for women to play on the radio. And, but now with the internet, good and bad, it's sort of busted the dam. And so you can see all these women through YouTube, through social media, and like you can see all these players. I mean, I think there's a statistic, the guitar buyers are equally, you know, male and female now for the first time ever. So I think really there's something to seeing something in front of you and going, I can do that. And, you know, so hopefully things get better. In that
No, you're right. I think just as you mentioned, just as many women are playing guitar as men, maybe more at this point. But again, you're, you know, considering who you are, you're the whole package. You know, you have your songwriting down, your playing down, your singing down. It's almost as if you've built yourself up as a brand. Do you find that, like, it's just not enough to be good at just one thing? You need to kind of have all those elements in place.
Well, it's competitive and it's show business, right? And, you know, that's the whole thing. Like, they come to see the shows, so it's like the show, you know, for me, it's like developing production that matches the show that I'm trying to put on to bring people in. And, you know, there's a lot that goes into this, more than just playing. The source of it is that you have to have good songs. So yeah, you either have to be a good writer or go work with good writers. Go learn, you know, or go find good songs, have an ear to find songs. I think everything's important, and I think it all helps each other. Having a voice and being able to write, and just you have to be diverse, and you have to be flexible, and yeah, I mean, I think it all helps. Yeah, hopefully.
Is there one moment that you said, "Wow, wait a minute, I've made it. I've done this"?
Opening for the Rolling Stones was pretty much one of those crazy moments. I had a few of them over the last couple of years where I was like, I put it on a list a long time ago of things that I really would hope would happen. But, you know, the Crossroads thing a couple of years ago was huge. And then getting that Stones show, and then going on the road with Slash, another one of those, like, you know, pinch me, you know, guitar player kid moments, you know. Yeah, I've gotten a couple of those, and it feels like a pat on the back and an aha, but then you just keep going. Now what? Like, now what do I do? So it's like, all right, well, the music has to be the driving factor behind it all. So it's like I'm really lucky because I'm still feeling inspired, and like I want to create and you know, do more.
Has it opened the doors? Have people come knocking on your door for collaborations?
Yeah, here and there.
Anyone you want to mention?
Everyone wants to work with me. Yes. No, I don't know.
Well played.
No, who knows? Really, like a good collaboration, you know, there's been people who I've worked with where it's like the name is wonderful, but you know, it's all about chemistry. At the end of the day, it's about who do you have this magic chemistry with, and if you find that, that's the collaboration. Got it. And that's all I'm looking for is chemistry. Yeah. So it's like whoever it is, as long as we're making good music, that's all that matters.
Do you have a dream collaboration?
Mike Campbell.
Mike Campbell.
I would love to work with Mike Campbell and Trent Reznor, of course. Why not? Everybody loves him right now.
Wait,
Forever and ever.
That's two disparate artists right there.
I'm all over the place, okay?
That's
I'm
pretty wild.
Way all over the place.
That's awesome. What advice would you give if you're just having like a bad night or stuff is not happening?
I've never had a bad night, no.
What do you do? What's your secret? Take a breath and...
Yeah, take a breath, really, because, you know, the audience, they came to see you play, not have a meltdown, you know? So for me, I have to and it's important. Sometimes when you can't hear yourself, it's so frustrating because all I want to do is give a good show to them.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes you just have to do this, like, trust fall into your abilities, right? Like, you know, even though I can't really hear as well as I would like to tonight, I have to just trust that this thing that I've spent, you know, what is it, 10,000 hours or more on, it's there.
Yeah.
I can do this. Even if it's not ideal circumstances, like, just trust yourself a little bit and do it for them because they're the ones who came here to support and enjoy themselves, you know, and that kind of takes some of the pressure off when you're not like, this is all on me. When you put it on to the audience in a way, like they're here to have a good time. All I have to do is, you know, let that happen, you know.
What would be like a song or riff or lead that most of your fans wouldn't believe that Samantha Fish doesn't do that kind of stuff?
There was a Hannah Montana concert in Kansas City, and Ticketmaster bought up all the tickets, so these little girls couldn't go. And I had not yet gotten a gig at Knuckleheads, and that's all I wanted. And so Frank at Knuckleheads was like, if you want to play here, can you come and play for my granddaughter and all of her friends? We're doing a Hannah Montana night. Can you learn all these Hannah Montana songs? And I begrudgingly did because it was not my style.
Sure.
So I played all these Hannah Montana songs, and these little girls ate me alive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
So maybe that would surprise people. I don't tell that story very often, but I do know, at least I used to know a bunch of Hannah Montana songs. I actually sort of blocked out most of the memory because they were kind of ruthless.
Yeah.
You're not as good as Hannah Montana kind of stuff.
Oh.
They were like heckling me.
It's like South Park kids, right?
It was pretty rough.
Wow.
Yeah.
So any advice would you like to give to aspiring guitarists or that want to do what you do?
Find good tone. Find your voice. I think as a guitar player, that is probably the hardest thing to do, and it sounds simple, right? Find your voice. Find what makes you unique. There's so many guitar players in the world, right? But I think it's just trying to tap into what makes you special and just really lean on it. That goes for music across the board, I suppose.
You're right. You're right. Fantastic. Well, listen, it was a real pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Fantastic. There you have it. If you dig what you just saw, you know, hit subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and tell us how awesome she is, right?
Thank you.